Hello everyone, I'm back with another video. This video today is the project actually kind of already got started. I was teaching my son last night about how you can do simple modifications to generic figures to kind of get some variety when you field your force. And so while I started the project, I stopped because I was like, you know what, this would probably make a really good video. So what you see before you are a handful of generic figures from the War of Light Green Lantern set. Got a black lantern, a red lantern, a blue lantern, even though it's mostly yellow, a Sinestro Corps, Indigo, Star Sapphire, and so forth. So the idea here is that since these recruits can be any alien race or anything, you can use any extra miniature or even modifying these miniatures slightly to make them have a slightly different look and look like an actual, batch of recruits as opposed to 16 of the same guy. So the project I was starting on was to take the Black Lantern and remove his head. I figured that the symbol that you see on him would be kind of difficult to replicate, although we probably could do it through paint. But in this case, I wanted to keep that intact and just see if maybe just changing out the head, again, this was a simple mod for my son, could help us out. So what I did is I took a pair of huge wire cutters and I just grabbed his head and turned it last night. I knew that turning a little bit both ways would weaken the glue and that it was knotted because you could see where it came off. So here we go. I'm going to try to see if I can focus in on that. You see there's kind of a hole there because the head itself, and let me see if I can get this, because I've been painting so my fingernail's a little dirty under there, but nope, let's try to focus there. Anyway, his head is knotted, so there's a piece there for it to go into, so it's not just a flat piece, and that will really help the head stay on. So the head I decided I was going to try out was on this guy. As you can see, he's got kind of a panther head. Might be kind of fun. So last night I first took the figure off the base. I use just an old X-Acto knife for that. It's old and it's actually kind of the point is tipped off, which actually makes it easier to get underneath here. What I do is I put the blade between the figure and where it meets the base, and it comes off something like that once you loosen the glue off. The next thing I did was I used the same pliers and I turned the head back and forth. Again, his head is knotted just like the other one. It's a little deeper and it's a little larger, so I had to take my scalpel and kind of go in there a little bit and cut it out a tiny bit. And what that gave us was this little head. And as you can see, if I don't drop it, you can see that it is also knotted. Now I did have to cut it down a little bit to make it fit. And that's kind of where the project stopped last night. But if you see, I can actually physically put it on without glue to kind of give you an idea of how our recruit would look. Now, it doesn't look very Black Lantern-y just yet, but it's a good start. He definitely looks different than the human version of this. The other idea I had for this was to take the tail from our extra figure and use a small drill bit. These videos would be a little easier if I can keep dropping things. But use a small drill bit to drill into the back of our figure and then insert said tail. So I'm going to pause the video and set up my tools. Let me give you guys a little better picture there. I'll pause the video and set up my tools, and we'll see what we can do about that tail and making this guy look like a real Black Lantern recruit. So give me just 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I have my X-Acto knife. And I told myself I wouldn't work over my camera like this again because it makes me sound like Darth Vader, but here I go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this knife and just remove the tail at the base. And as you see, it just kind of flew off, but here we go. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to pause the video for because it may take just a moment, and I don't want to waste anyone's time, is I'm going to find the correct bit that's small enough to represent that tail. So I'm going to pause the video again, and I'll come back with that drill bit. All right, so I found the drill bit I think will work. I have a few drill bits off the side, but this one is about the same size as where I want to insert the tail, which is right about here. So I have to figure out the spot on the figure that I'm going to want to insert that tail. I'll make them work. And then I will just slowly drill into it, right like that. Now I see it's kind of black on black, so it's hard for you to see. So I'm going to pause the video again and just drill the hole so you can kind of see the end result because you understand what I'm doing. Okay. So you can kind of see that I'm drilling right there to the back of it. And it doesn't have to be real deep. You just want enough to kind of insert the old tail. So you see now he has a hole there. You can focus in there a little bit. And just to test it out, I'm going to go ahead and try to insert the tail into the hole. Let's see, it's got a little extra flash there. Now I don't have to get it all the way in there, just enough for the glue to stick. Okay, so it looks like I need to make my hole just a tiny bit bigger. I can do that by using the same bit and wiggling it back and forth when I drill a little bit, making sure I'm not going deep, but just going around. It may take some precision work here, so. And also you see the tail's a little thicker right where it meets there. So I might just chop it off a little bit more to get some thickness down. So let's see what I can do. All right, so I chopped off a tiny bit end of this tail. I'm gonna push it in there, and there we go. That's without glue. So here we have a miniature, or a figure, however you want to claim this is, without any glue. Just using the prods that we have. I may have put this head on a few too many times and now it really wants to stick on there anymore. So I'll probably need glue. But you kind of get an idea of what we're talking about here and what we're looking at. Let's see if I can't, again without glue, get this guy on a little nicer. There we go. So without glue, we have, let me see if I can make that a little larger for you guys. There we go. Without glue, move the camera a little bit. We have a fairly decent Black Lantern recruit here. He looks pretty good. He looks like he's ready to go. It looks like he could be some kind of cousin to this guy. Again, different pose. Our tail is in a different position. I mean, you can definitely tell where it came from. But when you put it on the board next to a regular Black Lantern with the human face without the tail, it's going to have a little bit differential. Now, obviously, you can go crazy and modify arms and move arms around. Maybe take off the, where his arms connect here and put on this guy's arms if you wanted to have a little more uniform look. I'm fine with this. I'm ready to go to the next stage. The next stage is where I'm going to glue this together so it'll hold it together. And then I'm going to try our painting technique where we darken things. It's kind of, I usually use it to get the cracks, inking. I'm going to use that to darken him up to make him, well, one, so he doesn't look just like this guy, and two, to kind of give him a kind of a zombie, dirty, rugged feel. So I probably won't wipe him as much as I've wiped other figures off. And I'll probably include a separate video that either shows the end result for that or that will show the process for that. So anyway, this is a quick thing you can do with just two of your figures. If you got an extra Blue Lantern Recruit, an extra Black Lantern Reanimate. There are other ones I want to do, but this one works really quick, really easy. I imagine you could probably do a similar thing with the Red Lantern Recruit, given that he's got a head. The only reason I didn't do him is I did notice that where he meets... Let's see if I can get a better focus on that. Where he meets seems to be a little larger area than where his meets. Which means it would require a little bit of paint, a little more cleanup. And it wouldn't be something so easy for my son to be able to do, where he just drills a hole, chops the head off. Anyhow, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed making a Black Lantern Reanimate, and have a great day.